Florida's water is the single most important natural resource the state has, and preserving it not only ensures that Floridians will enjoy clean drinking water for generations to come, but that the natural ecosystems that provide it will flourish. In the past, impacts of human activity on Florida's fresh water supply were underestimated, or often not considered at all when making development choices. Now, the Paynes Prairie Sheet Flow Restoration Project is being undertaken to correct previous water management projects that have resulted in excess nutrients being delivered to the Floridan aquifer via Alachua Sink in Paynes Prairie State Preserve. The innovative restoration project will restore 1,300 acres of wetland habitat, improve water quality in Alachua Sink, and protect Florida's drinking water through the cooperative efforts of the City of Gainesville, Gainesville Regional Utilities, the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, St. Johns River Water Management District, the Florida Department of Transportation, and Alachua County. To the north of the Prairie, the city of Gainesville has grown from a small railroad town in the 1850s to a thriving urban center with a population of over 200,000 people. And in the 1930s, ranchers decided to drain the prairie through a series of canals to create more dry land for their cattle. The canals drained the wetlands on Paynes Prairie much like draining the Florida Everglades. Like many other water management projects of the time, little thought was given to how these changes would affect overall water quality or the ecosystem of the prairie. One of the canals the ranchers created diverted the Sweetwater Branch Creek directly to the Alachua Sink, disrupting the natural flow of water onto the prairie. As the city grew, Sweetwater Branch Creek carried stormwater, treated wastewater, and floating trash away from the city. At one time, raw wastewater was also discharged directly into Sweetwater Branch. Wastewater treatment has dramatically improved over the years. Gainesville Regional Utilities operates the Main Street Wastewater Reclamation Facility, which treats wastewater from Gainesville. The modern tertiary process includes biological treatment to remove pollutants, followed by filtration and disinfection. Although water leaving the Main Street Water Reclamation Facility is highly treated and has removed over half of the original nitrogen and phosphorus in the raw wastewater, it still contains some nutrients. The combined impacts of nutrients from stormwater, wastewater, septic systems, and other sources flowing into Sweetwater Branch have contributed to the poor water quality in Alachua Sink and have led the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to list the water as impaired.
Alachua Sink, along with Sweetwater Branch and several other of the creeks in Gainesville, are what we call impaired waters. That means that they do not meet their applicable water quality standards, which are designed to protect their beneficial uses, such as fishing, swimming, or potable water supply. As part of a national program, more importantly as part of state law, the Florida Watershed Restoration Act, the Department of Environmental Protection is charged with regularly assessing the health of our water bodies, determining which water bodies do not meet their water quality standards, and then developing pollution limits and targets for those impaired waters. These pollution limits are called total maximum daily loads, and they represent the total amount of pollutants that we can put into a water body and have it be healthy, have it meet its applicable water quality standards and its beneficial uses.
The Paynes Prairie Sheet Flow Restoration Project is an ambitious and innovative project that will help to reverse the negative impacts that modern urbanization has had on this important national landmark and regional water resource. Nutrients and other pollutants will be removed from Sweetwater Branch, and the natural flow path of the creek onto the prairie will be restored. Over 1,300 acres of wetlands located within the park will be rehydrated with high-quality water. First, improvements at the Main Street Water Reclamation Facility will be made to reduce nutrient levels leaving the plant. Second, trash and sediment will be removed so that they will no longer be deposited on the prairie. An enhancement wetland will be built on Paynes Prairie that will further reduce nitrogen and other pollutants from Sweetwater Branch. The high-quality water leaving the enhancement wetland will be distributed onto the prairie to restore the natural sheet flow. Finally, the old Sweetwater Branch Canal will be filled in so that there will no longer be a direct connection between Sweetwater Branch and Alachua Sink. At the Main Street Water Reclamation Facility, a treatment chemical called alum will be added to the wastewater treatment process to remove phosphorus down to very low levels of 0.3 parts per million or less. The trash that is washed down the creek from city streets and sidewalks during storm events will be collected and removed from Sweetwater Branch by a trap. Sand and other sediment that is washed down the creeks during storm events will also be removed so it will not build up within the enhancement wetland or on Paynes Prairie. The creek water, now free of sediment and trash, will flow to a constructed enhancement wetland.
And it turns out wetlands are very effective for nitrogen removal. They're also effective for phosphorus removal, another nutrient that's in water. Based on the flows coming down Sweetwater Branch that need to be treated before they get to Paynes Prairie, the wetland needs to be about 120 acres or so to remove the nitrogen.
During large rainfall events, part of the creek flow will move directly to the distribution canal. Stream flow from Sweetwater Branch will be routed through a series of shallow emergent marsh wetland cells alternating with deep water cells. The water will become more purified as it flows through the wetlands and is filtered by the wetland plants, microorganisms, and soil sediments. Once built, the wetland will look natural and function as an excellent habitat for wildlife.
Once it's treated to a level that's safe to put it out into the Paynes Prairie, natural marshes will be distributed through a sheet flow channel. And that sheet flow channel or distribution system is about 1 mile long and will take that water and spread it out in what we call a sheet flow onto the prairie, a shallow, even flow across the whole width of Paynes Prairie. It will receive additional polishing due to the natural wetland on the prairie, the natural wetland plants. The water will be at nutrient concentrations that are low enough to allow reestablishment of the types of plants that the state park would like to have out there, low nutrient plants. But those plants also have the ability to take up additional nutrients, and we expect by the time that water actually gets to Alachua Lake and Alachua Sink near the middle of the prairie, it will be at background nutrient concentrations comparable to what it was before there was any discharge from Sweetwater Branch.
The 2-mile-long canal restoration will be carried out by Paynes Prairie Preserve State Park. The canal will be filled in to the level of the surrounding terrain, preventing direct flow of water to Alachua Sink and allowing the canal area to recover to its natural condition.
The prize for the Park Service, or for the park in this project, has always been the removal of Sweetwater Branch, the canal, the dike, and to be able to restore sheet flow across the prairie. One, it puts the water flowing across the prairie, sort of like, remember the river of grass thing from the Everglades? Well, it does that same thing here. And also it removes that direct connection between the water flowing out of the downtown Gainesville and flowing into the Florida aquifer at Alachua Sink. So there's a lot of virtues for the preserve and for protecting the preserve, as well, of course, as solving the city's problems.
The project will provide a net positive benefit for conservation purposes by increasing the managed acreage within the preserve. A 276-acre parcel located on the southern rim of the Paynes Prairie Basin has been purchased jointly by the St. Johns River Water Management District, the City of Gainesville, and Alachua County forever. 185 acres of this property were added to the Paynes Prairie Preserve State Park in exchange for an easement over the project site. The remaining 91 acres is now Alachua County forever land that will remain in conservation. As a result, there has been a net increase in conservation land within the park. The City of Gainesville will offer public access to the Sweetwater Branch Enhancement Wetland. Similarly constructed wetlands across the state are a destination highly prized by birdwatchers and nature enthusiasts. The benefits of this large-scale restoration plan are numerous because so many important steps are being implemented. These benefits include improved water quality and the protection of the Floridan aquifer, the restoration of over 1,300 acres of drained wetlands on Paynes Prairie. Trash and sediment from Sweetwater Branch will no longer accumulate within the Paynes Prairie Basin. Increased wildlife habitat and opportunities for birdwatching, hiking, and scenic views of Paynes Prairie, and increased conservation land within Paynes Prairie Preserve State Park. Water quality in the Sweetwater Branch has been improved upstream by the Depot Park, Spring Hill, Southwest 5th Avenue, and the Duck Pond Stormwater Retrofit projects. Water quality will also be improved by upgrading the Main Street Water Reclamation Facility. These water quality improvements, combined with nitrogen removal achieved within the Sweetwater Branch Enhancement Wetland, will deliver much cleaner water to the north side of Paynes Prairie, to Alachua Sink, and to the Floridan Aquifer, protecting and preserving this valuable regional water resource for future generations.